Hello everybody, been a while checking back in on the US marijuana stocks, and we've seen a lot of weakness since the sell the news reaction to the votes, but it's a very important week coming up this coming week, and you'll see why on all of these weekly charts. A lot of attention has been on the Canadian sector, and we see it in dollar volume, we see it in price action, and especially in views. I'll do this video and get 4 times as many views on the Canadian video as I will on the US video, and that's because of the legal environment, much more friendly. The companies are having legitimate licenses and no risk of being shut down or roadblocks by the federal government like there are in the United States. So it's just a much friendlier investing environment. There's an IPO coming up next week, EMC. I think it's going to explode, and we'll see how that goes, but it has all the momentum in its favor, and we have lots of U.S. traders interested in Canada. Called up Fidelity, got my buddy signed up with an account because you can trade Canadian names with Fidelity, and the rep right away said, "Oh, are you looking to trade that IPO next week?" So clearly they're getting a lot of interest from the US side as well. So getting into these tickers, we're going to look at MJNA GRNH TRTC, HEMP CBIS, and AMMJ. So MJNA is the sector leader, and I haven't done a video in a while, but the last 2 videos we were looking for a rejection from the 10-day moving average resistance, a pullback, a higher low to form compared to the low of the bottom of the sell-off, and then a lower high and a continued tightening range. And so far, that's how it is playing out. So we have key support at 0.071. Resistance is 14.5. Higher low, 0.08. And I expect a lower high to form compared to 14.5. And we should see a very clear break of this pattern by the end of next week or the start of the following week. So it's very clear what separates these names in terms of their strength and weaknesses is if they have broken the low of November 11th or not yet. You see MJNA has not. It is fitting in that tightening pattern. This is what I call reaching an equilibrium. You will see it time and time again after breakouts and breakdowns, just a tightening range, lower highs, higher lows before a very clear break does occur. So the bulls holding 8-cent support and looking up towards 14.5 resistance, but again, I do expect a lower high to form on this bounce, maybe around 12 cents or so, 13 cents before pulling back to 10 cents, and then seeing a clear break. So the weekly time frame, this is why next week is so important for all these names. Big bullish reversal candlestick. We need confirmation. Look at the lower highs 4 weeks in a row. Next week, bulls need to break 11.8, see a nice solid green week, and confirm this doji that does show a reversal on the weekly time frame. GRNH, so here is how it is very clearly weaker than MJNA. Here's that low from November 10th and 11th, and we have broken it. So it's been nothing but lower highs and lower lows. Look at the increasing bear volume. Huge red flag, seeing an increase in bear volume and a break of that key support. Flashing back to MJNA real quick, you can see we held that support. GRNH did not. Look at the decreasing bull volume on the bounce. This is exactly what the bears want to see, and the bulls want to see increasing bull volume, which we don't have. But we do have a bullish reversal candlestick here as well. So we've seen now 4 weeks in a row of lower highs, same scenario. We need a green week this coming week to confirm this bullish reversal candlestick. You can see the long lower wick with the bulls buying the dip. Now they need that follow through back to the upside. TRTC even weaker than GRNH. Look at the huge volume dump, and we broke well below. Support here was 34.4, and we dropped all the way down to 22.1. So from the high that we saw, we have pulled back over 50%, giving back tons of gains from the run up. And you can see 2 days ago, we hit the lowest price we've seen in 3 months. So TRTC, absolutely weaker than the other 2 we've already looked at. Nice bounce. There are still trades to be had here, and keyword is trade. I would not want to be long in a trend that looks like this over the past month with this huge bear volume, but we do have a nice move to the upside the past 2 days. And what that is doing is creating this bullish reversal hammer on the weekly time frame, bouncing off all these moving average supports. And we had this low back here from May. That low was 22.2 and then 22.1. So essentially a little double bottom at that level. That is now a very key support. Same scenario. We need a green candlestick this following week to confirm the bullish reversal hammer. Hemp has held. It's got a little double bottom here at 0.26. So that's a very key support level if that were to break. Next support that I would be looking at is 2.5 and then all the way down to 2 cents and 0.019. So a very clear lower high, lower low pattern. Now we have our little double bottom. This is a descending triangle pattern when you have a horizontal base of support and continuing lower highs. A clear break on hemp is coming in the short-term future, and it's either going to be a bearish break of 26 cents or a bullish break by getting over 0.033, which is where this last little bounce attempt topped out. Hemp on the weekly time frame is also a bullish reversal candlestick, a hammer that needs confirmation next week. So you can see the correlation between all these names. Although the daily charts, some are weaker than others, the weekly charts are all the same in the sense that they need a green week this coming week in order to confirm the bullish reversal candlestick. CBIS, also on the weaker side, as we have our lower high and lower low pattern. This lower high and lower low pattern has been intact now for almost 6 weeks. So you can see that low was 0.0282, and we broke that by dropping down to 0.0271. So let's look at the weekly time frame for CBIS. Also a bullish reversal hammer, also needs confirmation with a green week. So you can see the lower wick, bulls bought the dip. Keep in mind on all of these charts, look at the lower wick from 2 weeks ago that saw no follow through to the upside. So we have to keep that in mind. Every single one of these charts has a lower wick from 2 weeks ago that saw no confirmation. So we need that confirmation to be confident that the bulls are showing back up. And last we've got AMMJ. It too broke to a lower low below the November 11th low. Trying to see a turnaround. Nice bull volume. The bulls are very happy with the volume here that we saw on Wednesday. And same thing, bullish reversal hammer, looking good for continuation. This is one of the strongest weekly reversal candlesticks off of this 200-week moving average. And we need confirmation and a green week this coming week. And you can see that green hammer on the week is the strongest looking hammer that we have on the weekly time frame out of all of them. So AMMJ looking good on the weekly time frame. MJNA is looking the second best on the weekly time frame, and then you have the rest falling in line. So again, should see some short-term upside, and if we confirm that candlestick on the weekly, that will be a great sigh of relief for the bulls, as they have certainly been not in the driver's seat the past month. And watch MJNA very closely with this tightening range, because it's going to see a clear break, if not this coming week, then certainly early the next week after that. So keep your eyes on that EMC IPO. You will be able to trade it on the OTC. It will be EMMCF, and it's one of the 30 legal licensed producers in Canada, and full backing by the government. The government is still coming out with the regulation, so there is some uncertainty with that regard. But in terms of legality, these licensed producers don't have much to worry about. So we'll see how EMC does. Certainly will be, even if you're not going to play it, you should watch it, because it's an IPO in the marijuana sector, and we don't have a ton of those to be watching in terms of what to expect, but we are going to see more and more of them in the future. So even if you aren't playing it, it can be a nice little history lesson to apply to future IPOs. So I appreciate you watching, and hope you have a good weekend.